Okay, looks like we're live on YouTube now, so we can start this last presentation of the day. As you can see, probably right now, we have Patrick Flannery from Fenestration Review, and we have Cam Drew. So I'll let Patrick do the honors here. This is a special edition of Fenestration in Canada, so you can go ahead, Patrick.
That's right. Hey, thanks a lot, Stefan, for having me on. Thanks to
Sure.
Fenestration Canada for inviting me in for this. I think this is a great way for Stefan to prevent me from just taking over the chat room and the Q&A session and asking all my questions there. Because if they just let me run this thing, then I'll just ask it all now, and we won't have to, have the middleman involved. The great concept here is that we're going to talk to a manufacturer today. I mean, it's great hearing from the suppliers. I thought the VECA presentation this morning was outstanding. We're going to hear from Everlast tomorrow, which is wonderful. And thanks so much to those guys for their support of all of this.
In 2 days, I think.
And is it in 2 days for Everlast?
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
Stefan. Yep. But today we have the very special opportunity to talk to Cam Drew from Thermoproof. Cam, as we know, is a window and door manufacturer on Vancouver Island. I'm going to let him get into the details about his company. But Cam, thanks so much for being here with us. It's really great to talk to you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Thanks, Stefan. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. So listen, I understand, Cam, you've actually gone to the unbelievable effort to put some kind of a deck together. So this is too exciting. Take us, and I know. One of the reasons you're here is that really you guys have been going through some amazing changes and some amazing effort and doing a lot of different things that I think everybody who's involved in fabrication is going to be interested to hear about. So why don't you take us through a bit of what Thermoproof has been up to and tell us what the sort of the big news around the company is.
Okay, thanks, Patrick. I'll share my screen here and get going with a little presentation of some photos to share with everybody. Okay. So a couple months back, an opportunity came to us to acquire a new location. It was a 21-year-old building. First off, here's a little history of Thermoproof. It's a little over 40 years old. It opened up in Chemainus, which is about halfway between Victoria and Nanaimo on Vancouver Island. In '79, they opened up a location out in Chemainus. The current group, my group, we acquired it in 2007. We opened up a showroom in Duncan, which is about 10 minutes drive away from the plant in 2012. Just the plant didn't have enough room for a showroom. We opened up another showroom up in Courtenay, about an hour and a half drive north of here in 2017. And then in just earlier this year, just because the pandemic wasn't enough fun, we decided to close Chemainus and Duncan and open in Cobble Hill, which is a little closer to Victoria for us. And what we found was this building here, it became available. The bakery closed up. It was a family-run bakery, and things had changed in the baking business. About, from what I understand, about 6 bakeries of this size have closed up in BC in just the last couple of years. Anyways, this is a 25,000 square foot building, 21 years old. So we acquired this, the start of May is when we took over. And by July 6th, we were able to move into this building here. So the retrofit was a complete gut of the showroom, offices and bathrooms downstairs. And upstairs was somewhat retrofitted. Of course, new windows. I know Terry's gonna ask if he's online where I got the windows. So new windows, new paint job. And then we went inside as well. So here, our company, we manufacture windows and patio doors. We supply finished goods like hinge doors and bifold doors. And we also offer installation services in a couple areas of Vancouver Island where we're situated and where our other showroom up in the Strathcona area is situated, but we're a wholesaler in other areas like Victoria, Nanaimo, Port Alberni. So here's the showroom. We took out some washrooms and offices here. Took down the ceiling, put in 90 LED lights up in the ceiling, and new flooring. And this is the concept we went with to display the windows. I wanted to show this because I found this concept in Scotland, and it was less expensive to finish the windows, and we also found that it kept the showroom a little more open. So they're 4x4 cedar posts painted black, and then the windows put in there and differing. We had a 9-foot ceiling, a bit of a disadvantage that we couldn't show higher ceiling heights. So we had to keep to the one header height. We just moved the sill heights up and down. And we still have a patio door to go in there. We'll have 2 patio doors, a variety of double and triple pane windows, and a bifold door. Plus also we have windows in different colors, some painted windows as well. There's the bifold door on the left. That's a 4-panel, 12-foot by 8-foot. And then we also have our hinged doors as well. So an area, and behind that wood grain window is another takeoff area as well, where we can meet with clients. So we have 2 areas to meet with clients, to do takeoffs, and the showroom all in between. It's about 1,600 square feet is the showroom.
Love that concept, Cam. So clean.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that just looks really nice.
It's easy at the start. It's going to be tough in a couple of years. You know, hopefully we can look back at these photos in 2 years and it won't be too busy, because you know how showrooms can get.
Yeah.
So this is a bifold door that we show as well, and we sell. So here's a shot looking at the plant. It's 20,000 square feet. We put in new lighting, LED lighting. Along the left of the photo, you'll see a row of bay doors, 9 bay doors there. The 3 bay doors that you can see in the far off on the left is where we bring in the vinyl and ship out the windows. So we work in a U pattern. So the extrusion, the profiles are at the far end, and they move to your right. They move around. The welders are all the way over against the wall on the right. And after welded, they come back to assembly. The other side of that gray wall is assembly, and move to glazing. The glass comes in, meets glazing, and out it goes. You see the 2 silver stacks all the way over to your right. That's the paint booth. And so we put about twice the size of paint booth, paint area that we had before. And there's a wall there. And then behind that is another 1,600 square feet of space for the paint prep and paint curing area. So we were able to double the size of our paint. We use Vision, is how our buggies come in. We store about 18 buggies on the inside, 46, 47 buggies outside. We use the Pro line. We have 2 double miter saws. We use Paradigm software. We do electronic data input from our software into our saws, which I'm sure pretty well everybody does. This is our rebar workstation. We're using steel mostly, some aluminum, and now we're branching into fiberglass as we're moving into some new profiles.
Cam, while we're still on the manufacturing, Cam, just a question coming in. Do you manufacture that bifold door yourself, or do you?
No, that comes from a company in Kelowna, and they offer it in vinyl and aluminum, and that's the Folding Door Company.
Okay.
We manufacture patio doors. We have a line of patio doors here called the Islander patio door. We've tested it for NAFs up to a certain size. After that, we go to Sunview. For any of the OXXO configurations, we go to Sunview, and we've used Novatech as well. And also painted interior, exterior. We go to a supplier for that. We'll paint just the exterior of our patio door and keep the sill unpainted. Here's our fabrication center, the mills, the CNC router. We have 3 2-point welders, some old, we have a Pro line, an actual Hefner. This is the paint booth. This worked out really well for us. We have a welding curtain that you can draw down the middle, and we have the regulated air not only in the ceiling, but 2 on either wall. So there's 6 air outputs. And so the painter can hook up their paint gun at multiple locations. They can also split the room in half, so we can paint one color at one half. You know, you got that order of just 2 windows. It used to take up the whole paint booth. So now we can be painting multiple colors at the same time. And right around the corner from this is the paint wash area, which we didn't have in our previous location. The paint booth was on the other side of the plant, and the wash area was on the other side of the plant from that. So it was very labor intensive. So this paint booth, that is a antimicrobial vinyl wall that we found. We sourced out from one of our partners, and they do grow ops with this. So that's the same type of wall you find in a grow op. Very easy to clean. It was very easy to put up. There's no paint required. It's about 1/4 of an inch thick and 2-foot panels. We did it vertical. So you can hit that wall with a hose, and it's all sealed up and it'll just run down. But it's very easy to keep clean.
Huh. That's off the shelf technology in BC, I believe, is it not, Cam?
Yeah, the grow ops, we pretty well you'll find that in every home. So there you
right,
go.
right.
We also manufacture our own screens, our screen department. We bring our glass in from PFG. So we order up our sealed units from PFG in Vancouver. They get the glass. Predominantly everything we use is Cardinal 272, 270, 366, I-89, and Argon. We're about to start. We start our testing at Intertech on Monday for our new triple casement and our new double triple slider as well. So we're going through all of that. We make our rake windows. We also have a food safe glycol machine to do certain bends. And then we outsource if the bend gets too tight for our jig. So some of the finished product, some that we've done. So painted, unpainted. This was an interesting project. This is a restaurant, and we did everything in anodized aluminum. As you can see, the doors anodized aluminum. This is probably not new for a lot of people, but this worked out really well for us. You know, in the case, the builder here was also a partner of mine, and he said the thermal performance was about 30% better than the aluminum, and the cost was about 30% less than the aluminum. So it was a win on both sides.
Nice.
And then we also were involved in the renovation industry.
Beautiful.
So that's a little breakdown of what we do.
Good stuff. About how much production floor did you add?
20,000 square feet of production floor in the back there. And then from offices, it's 5,000 square feet of office space upstairs and downstairs. So a little more downstairs than upstairs.
How much what does that compare to the old place?
The old place, so we went from 18,000 square feet to 25,000 square feet. Okay. And in our 18,000 square feet, the building was added on to since 1977. So there were 7 additions. And so anybody that's worked in that knows the inefficiencies of having 8 different buildings to move product through. There are some areas that we couldn't even, we had differing levels of floor. So you couldn't move from this building to that building without going all the way around the building. So, and again, where the paint booth, since we added paint about 6 years ago, the only area we could add it into was far from the assembly area. So paint had, windows had to travel from assembly all the way to paint, then back to assembly. And the only cleaning area was also on the other side of the factory. So there was a lot of waste and transportation, which we've eliminated now with this new design.
Terry is clearly using this opportunity to do a lot of research on you guys, Cam. He was wondering if if you had to increase staff with all of that.
We'd like to increase staff, but it's one of the challenges right now is finding. But we with the same amount of people, we have found efficiencies, so that's good. So, but still, because our sales are up over the same period last year. So when COVID hit, the first 3 months, which is our first quarter. So March, April, May is our first quarter, our Q1. We were down a good 30% off last year. But our booked sales for the second quarter, June, July, August, were up about 8%. So we've been just challenged in finding some people to come in to fill some positions. So,
and you did this whole move, right in the teeth of the pandemic, right?
Yes, but which we realize now couldn't have been better. We sat back and reevaluated things when the pandemic hit, because we still had an opportunity. We had not removed all the final subjects on the acquisition of this building. and didn't know what this pandemic would have meant. Was it going to be, were sales going to be down 50% for the next 2 years? We didn't know. But this building was almost built to suit, and it was almost custom built for us. It was such a good opportunity. And it turned out that being down 30% gave us the opportunity to slow production to allow the move, and then also benefit from the wage subsidy, which has helped greatly. And then now that we're settled into the new building, business is up and we're in a better position to handle the increased orders than we were at the old location.
So it turns out that a bakery layout is pretty close to what you need for a window and door fabricator. Is that?
There's more loading bays than we required. There's 11 loading bays, but we only had one before, so that's been a benefit. And it was just very open in the back. We had to add some heat because they had an oven, so they didn't have heat. And the lighting was 21 years old, so we had to change the lighting. But there was a great compressor system, an absolutely outstanding fire suppression system, which you have to have because of flour. So we have a great, the compressor was fantastic. Compressor lines, we just had to add some drops down to it. The fire suppression, we just had to have that updated, which wasn't very much at all. Some updated pads. And the lighting, there was some cost in the lighting and electrical just because of the age of the building. And we had costs related to providing heat in the back.
And now, as Terry says, you're giving away a dozen cinnamon rolls with every order, right?
That's right.
It's a beautiful
windows,
thing.
Patio doors and muffins. We've got it all covered.
Yeah, you've got it all covered. And that's interesting that a bakery would be that close to what you want. Terry is on here saying he says everything looks very slick and tidy and bright, so that's nice.
Thanks, Terry.
Dave Goldsmith would like to know if you have considered profile wrapping instead of painting.
Our problem is what we found is we only manufacture about 12 to 14,000 windows a year, and that size, I'm gonna look at that because we just recently started to paint some lineals. Everything we've painted so far has been in boxes and very labor intensive, and so we painted a couple lineals and moved them through, and they actually came out very well. So and the profile wrapping of certain colors could be very beneficial. So we are going to look at that. Equipment acquisition is very challenging for us at our size. We're going through some new equipment acquisition to do with the new profiles. And with that, it's really challenging to find something that can offer you efficiencies at a cost that everything's built to handle 300 windows a day, and we're at 50 to 75 windows a day. So we're everything we find gives us just what we're buying is new equipment and having the same efficiencies, or slightly increased efficiencies, but not greatly increased efficiencies. So there are some challenges manufacturing at this size.
Tell me, Cam, what you can about the new equipment that's coming in. What are you adding, and what are you hoping it's going to do for you?
Well, we're looking at because we don't manufacture a lot of the same product as I'm sure many of the others in Canada do. A lot of the equipment that we're finding, because of the clamp setup for a CNC machine, it takes too much time to set the clamps up as you're changing every window, every profile. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we run, the cycle times weren't improved. So we may have to go back to looking at the piece of equipment, the ProLine CNC that we have, something similar to that, which is very fast to load and unload, and we're able to get a lot of profiles in and out of there very quickly. Or the next step is something, Tecton has a piece of equipment, American has a piece of equipment that where you can load 9-10 profiles into it, and it's your complete fabrication center. You're talking the $300,000 to $400,000, which is a huge budget for an operator of our size. And so that's a real challenge. Yeah, there'll be some efficiencies, but not the same efficiencies as somebody who manufactures 200 to 300 windows a day. That's a company that would have a faster return on investment than we would.
Yeah, they've got some palletized systems where you can set up you can get your setup in advance and kind of just rotate in the pallets really fast. But I'm sure you've looked at all that. But I know they're supposed to be for specifically batch manufacturing, like what you guys would do instead of
Yes. Yeah.
high volume.
Yeah.
But it's you got to do cost benefit analysis on this stuff. It's very it takes a lot of spreadsheeting, I think, sometimes to figure out whether this is going to make sense.
We find at this size, we're always buying more equipment than we're spending more on equipment than you would based on your financial statement, just because there isn't a $15,000 2-point welder out there. It just doesn't, or you can buy one, but it'll only weld 3 windows or,
Yeah, there's always kind of this gap, isn't there, between the really almost manual stuff and then high maximum high production, and then in between you're kind of jury rigging a CNC into doing the work that you want.
All right. One of our neighbors is we got a couple truss plants in the neighborhood, and talking to the owners of those companies, they're in the same boat, that a lot of the equipment that automates the manufacture of truss plants is in the $2 to $3 million range, and it's just tough at our size to be able to justify those investments.
Terry's asking if you're hiring and mentions that he has some experience. So
Fridays, Terry, you come on by, and we do have a make your own window. It's like Build a Bear. You can come on in and we'll set you up.
Yeah. You want Terry Adamson as an employee, Cam? I wish you luck. That's your...
It's that tough right now.
It's that bad. Let's have a look here. Adam Hess says he's jealous. Adam, just get out there and find a bakery. I'm sure there's another. Well, didn't you say there were a whole bunch of them went under?
Well, yeah, about 6 of them went under, not on the island though.
Yeah,
but,
Adam's on the island.
Adam and I shared the same challenges. I've been through Van Isle. They've been through Thermoproof, and yeah, there's challenges when you don't get that great big open space. So yeah, I know. I got to tell you, Adam, what it was we had that coverage and fenestration review, and after that, everything changed. Before you know it, we're into a new building. And
hey. You know what? One of the first profiles I did actually before I made Fenestration Review was Everlast, and look at who's a sponsor now of the whole event here, right?
There you go.
It's a ticket to ride. What can I tell you?
Things come to those.
Yeah, right. Listen. Terry also would like to know. So I don't want to. We don't want to get into a whole lot of COVID talk. Everyone's sick of it, but just give us a snapshot. The renovation business obviously was impacted initially. I couldn't get into people's houses, lockdown, et cetera, et cetera. How'd you find that? How'd you deal with that? What happened there?
Yeah, and it's so geographic because for one, though, it was everywhere. That whole side of our business, renovation base, just stopped until people figured out what can we or can't we do. We didn't get into homes with our own renovators, and a lot of our customers that are renovation based just stopped, and so that side of our business was slow. And the new construction side slowed a little bit until people, because they had to go at a different pace, but it did continue on. But here on the island, due to the very low rates, I think we were able to start renovations sooner than other areas and get back to 100% pretty quick. It was only about 3 months, and we found right around June, people felt comfortable. In some of the cases, our team has masks. We would carry certain extra protocol. It depends on the style of renovation. Do we need to be inside the house? Are we just doing everything from outside, or what's going on? Are the people home? In some cases, when we first started back, the homeowner would leave for the day. There'd be a complete clean as we finish, all gloved, masked, everything. And it's a little more relaxed up until recently, but we've gone back to wearing masks in the showroom now, asking customers to wear masks. We also record the name, phone number, and time of everybody in the showroom. And I'd recommend this to every manufacturer or everybody who has a showroom. What we've learned is from the restaurant industry is that, you know, if you do have the name of everybody, if somebody does report that they've had it, you can go back to the time that they were in your showroom, and you only need to move forward and contact everybody individually. If you don't do this, you may have to go very public saying that you've had somebody in your showroom test positive for COVID. So everybody that's been in your showroom should test, and that can be very detrimental to your business. So instead of making, you know, 6 phone calls, you have to be out very public so I'd recommend, and nobody has had a problem with us taking their name and their phone number, and we just jot down the time that they were in the showroom, and wearing the masks. We offer masks. A lot of people have their own, we have our own, and that hasn't been too bad. And then we do a COVID clean every morning of the plant and of the showroom.
Incredible advice. Yeah, I think that's a great point, is that you can avoid having to make an announcement on the radio that you've had a COVID tester in the paper. On the production floor, the distancing, and any problems with people showing up, people electing not to work.
Yeah, we did have that. We had that. We understand. We had some people just not feel comfortable. We had some people because of their home situation. There may be somebody, you know, compromised immune system at home, and so they weren't comfortable coming to work. So yes, that was. It wasn't too detrimental because of the slowdown in production for the first period, but we've had some people not come back, and I'm sure all manufacturers have had that, which has been difficult in the last 3 months as we've had increased orders. Yeah.
So what's your prediction? I guess I can't say we're coming out of this, at least certainly not in Ontario. I can't say we're coming out of this thing, but maybe there you are, and sooner or later it's got to end. A vaccine will show up. Going forward, Cam, how do you see business? Obviously, the orders are there. People are buying windows and doors at the prices they're being offered. They want to. Are we going to see a big V shape? Or are we just going to come out of this like gangbusters?
Or you know, we're seeing, I think what we're seeing a lot of is travel money right now. So you know, people I know people in this area, I'm sure people all through Canada love to travel, and they've been sitting inside their homes, doing what they, you know, quarantining in their homes, or just being responsible and looking around and saying, you know what, let's get that renovation done that we have not gotten done in years, and it's the funds we're finding from the travel industry. We're also seeing quite the uptick in new real estate on Vancouver Island, directly related to people leaving their condos or leaving areas that had high COVID count, and they're looking for areas that have low COVID count, and wanting to get out of condos and into areas where they can feel a little more, if they did have to stay at home, where they've got themselves a little more space. At least the people that are arriving here. I'm not saying that there's a mass exodus from urban areas, but the ones that are showing up are sharing that story. That's their reason for moving here, and because they've all found they can't all find, but most have found that they're fine working at home. A neighbor has his son home from Duluth, Minnesota right now, working for Hitachi in the finance division, and he's not sure, you know, he's doing every bit of, it hasn't changed his work schedule at all. So
why go back?
Why go back? He's here on the island, and so.
Concern about vacancies on the commercial side, Cam?
We have some commercial properties, and thankfully, I have a medical center. That's going to be okay. But yeah, I think you're going to see that in large areas. Areas like Calgary are really going to be hit because they were already on the ropes. So you're going to find that, and you're going to find that in larger urban areas where, you know, in this area on the island, we are already steep in tech. So I don't know if it's going to change too much, but also we're very steep in government commercial rental units. So there's been, I sit on the board of a couple restaurants, and they've had a bit of a tough time, but we just went ahead and acquired another restaurant, and we feel positive about it coming back. It's going to be a slow return, but we think in certain areas it's going to do all right.
Yeah, I just look at that office space thing and I go, I was
You
talking
look
to
at
my aunt. I was talking to my aunt on the weekend, Bank of Montreal, downtown Toronto, right? That this 80-story tower, you know, crickets. Like
Yeah.
there's no one in there.
Yeah.
And there maybe never has to be again.
Well, if those of us in manufacturing could hire anybody around the world, we would. But you have to come here to work to put the window together. But for companies like Facebook and Shopify have all said, I think one of them has 80,000 employees. I think Facebook has 80,000 employees are all working from home, and they're not sure if they're going back.
Yeah, one of them said definitely no. One of them said that's it. It's everybody's at home.
Yeah. So it's a changing landscape for that. I think though for us in the residential window industry, we've got good things coming our way. We're an essential service, and we saw people moving towards our industry and not away from it in this pandemic. And then with changes coming, that what Al was talking about, changes coming, we're just going to see more business opportunities.
Totally agree. It's this side of the business is the right one to be on. I think for sure for now. Talk to me a bit about supplies though. I know that a lot of some of the people I've been talking to in Ontario are really squeezed. Trouble getting glass. What are you seeing?
Yeah, same thing. Supply chains are starting to break down across North America. It's specific to what we do, and so it's we've been touch wood, been very lucky with our glass coming from Cardinal going through PFG. That's been great, and our vinyl, but it's just the odd part here, bit of weather strip, bit of, it's just components. It's funny, you need everything to put a window together. It's not like you can.
You can't leave anything out.
Yeah, you can't. They notice when the glass is missing. Funny enough. So yeah, we've had some delivery dates pushed out due to, but we've also seen some. It's tough for our renovation clients because they want what they want, but some of the new construction, they're finding that they're behind in their times as well. We've had some house packages sitting in the loading bay for a couple of months now, as the building dates have been pushed out in new construction, because you also need to be aware that wood is becoming the big issue. It's very scarce and has gone up 2 to 3 times in cost. So builders have a lot of things on their mind right now, but supply chains are breaking down.
What are the lumber thing? I think was due to sawmill shutdowns and then inability to catch up, and then also I guess the pine beetle was especially bad, actually, just to add insult to injury this year. But what are you hearing? Is it issues with getting things from China, or is it issues with getting things across the American border?
That's a very good point. Well, some is going to be getting across the border, but that's been flowing all right. I think, I think it's really just the passenger travel over the border that's affected. The infrastructure was in place when the border shutdown happened to be able to move things. I think, at the base of it, if you have a manufacturing facility in a very urban area, and that urban area has been hit more robustly by COVID, then they're just going to have a tougher time manufacturing. If you took half of our staff away, our lead times would just go out that much further. And most of the parts that we get don't come from a smaller area than us. They come from a larger area, and the larger areas seem to have more effect due to COVID.
And it's not like you can suddenly just start producing double to make up for the time that you lost on the orders that you had. And then there's always more coming in. So a backlog is a backlog, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely true. One thing occurred to me watching your PowerPoint. How much money do you figure you're saving with the LED lighting?
We just got our bill in, and it should be around $12,000 a year.
Yeah. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
How
It
much
really is.
how much better that is. That definitely worth the price of admission, I think.
It was, we knew we needed to update the lighting, but it's amazing how, you know, the whole thing goes back to the home runs. You know, you can put a lot of lights off one home run back to the electrical panel, where before they had they were metal halide lighting, which had a buzz in here that would just drive you. It was against the Geneva Convention. It was so bad, you know, that, and the power that it drew, and it didn't have a very even, healthy lighting. Yeah, we you know, it's easy to have some programming done that would told us that we needed 48 candle lighting for medium-sized manufacturing of a building our size. So we just added the amount of light to get us that. So worked out well.
Yeah, I don't know how much noise a bakery makes, but maybe it was drowning out the buzz from the lights. But some of those
Probably, and I would imagine our manufacturing, you know, it has a volume to it as well. But just at that base, just that constant buzzing of the lights, just was something we wanted to eliminate.
Yet another reason not to work in an office.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, look. Cam, I know you're a passionate man about the energy codes and a lot of the stuff going on at the government level these days. So and you know, Al had a series of really great presentations this morning, just updating us on where this market transformation thing is going. Give us. I'm interested. You and I were in a one of these market transformation sessions in Ottawa a couple of years ago, and I just want to get your input on what you think they should be doing, where you think it should be going to actually drive the demand that they're going to need for the higher performance products in the market. What do you think should happen?
So here's my take. I think, and I first should, you know, I think the windows that we're testing right now will come in below 1. So we can produce a window. I don't think we can get down to 0.8, but I do think we can get down below 1. But I think the 1.05 is a good number, because after that, the trajectory of the cost goes straight, it starts to climb too much, or not too much, but let the consumer then choose to go to. I think there should always be some room for the consumer to decide if they want to invest in the increased energy efficiency, and if the government wants to have programs. So if to keep every manufacturer still alive in Canada, that 1.05 is doable. It's not, you know, we're facing costs here of $300,000 to $500,000 to get a window that can do that, because we don't have that right now. And that's tough on a manufacturer our size. And we employ 40 people, and I think we should continue to employ 40 people. We shouldn't be put out of business because of that. And this is where the larger manufacturers have the distinct advantage, because they're already there. But if we want to get to 0.8, we should make further investment and get there. And the consumer should always have that better and best option. So they can, you know, a 1.05 can be a somewhat affordable window. It's going to be more expensive than the window that is today. So the government is going to push them to spend more on it, but they're going to get the energy efficiency. And if you have the homeowner that wants to invest even more, they can go to a 0.8, and that can be, or even less than 0.8 if somebody can produce it. But that should be up to the consumer and not the government to push it, because the government also said in the meeting that you and I sat in, it was in a slide there that they said that this should be at no more than a 5% increase to the consumer. Now they've dropped that since, but what they were saying is we want to push these lower numbers, but we don't want to push the increased price on the consumer. And that 0.05 to 0.8 is where you see the trajectory move up more dramatically. I'm not saying it shouldn't. I think it should happen. I think the consumer should make that choice, and we should lay in somewhere around the 1.05.
Incentive structure should be what? Ongoing, intermittent? Should there be?
Yeah, we need to get there. You know, we need to step our way there.
Yeah.
You know, being in BC, we're always the leaders, so we'll be there before everybody else. Isn't that great? But we still need to. I always say.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm like a broken record. We need to solve this energy rating problem, but at least for BC, it's not even on the table. But Energy Star, as a government entity, needs to figure out what they're telling the consumer is right for their home and what isn't right for their home. And I think we can all agree there are parts of Canada where energy rating can work, but we know where I'm sitting right now, it doesn't. But the consumer can go buy a window that has the Energy Star rating on it, and they'll think that it's better for them in their home, and it has a much higher solar heat gain coefficient, and that's gonna allow them to bake eggs on their kitchen table in our 31-degree summers, and we get them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll tell you something here. So it's a beautiful day today, but it's a warm day. We don't get minus 27 and cold. When it's cold here, it's because it's overcast. So we don't get any solar heat gain in this zone. So for this zone, energy rating doesn't work.
So that point about the western windows in BC doesn't really apply so much to you guys. There was a point this morning that western facing windows in BC, just at the angle the sun comes in, it tends to be.
That's actually, he made that point that you're going to get high solar heat gain, incredibly high solar heat gain here on the west coast of Canada. So, and you're going to get that in the summertime. The sun sets lower in the summertime. It sets higher in the winter. So in the summertime, you are going to get incredible solar heat gain. The BC Hydro will tell you that they are having higher cooling costs and heating costs. So you basically want to manage to keep your U value low and manage your solar heat gain as per your elevation, and you'll be more comfortable in your home.
Is there better demand for high performance in BC, Cam? Do you think it's an easier sell there, or I don't know? You've done most of your business in BC, so I mean, I guess
this is this part of the island where Terry is and where Adam is the highest average temperature in Canada, and it's not that we get the high highs and we just get a really nice even temperature. So it's tough to push energy efficiency because it never really gets that cold. It's starting to get hotter, where our days over 30 degrees are increasing, but it's not. It can be a tough sell. Triples are going to be a tough sell on Vancouver Island because it just never gets that cold. You've got to push minus 27. Then people start thinking about keeping some heat in their home, but it's pretty easy to manage if you with just a standard window, you'll be pretty comfortable in your home.
Well, Cam, we have flown off into a lot of dark alleys here, and that's good. But I just think I think what's great is that you're a great example, I think, of a small manufacturer done well, right? I mean we hear a lot about the bigger efforts. We hear a lot about some of the larger companies going from strength to strength, and there you guys are really making a go of it in what's a difficult situation. So I really want to thank you very much for coming on here and being so open with all of your processes and letting us get a look inside a Thermoproof, because you guys are obviously making it happen out there. So best of luck, and I think we'll be hearing and seeing a lot more of you in the future. Although you've had your profile for this decade, so you've got to.
All right, good. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks a lot. All right, Stefan, what are we doing? We good?
Well, yeah. So I just want to mention. Well, of course, I just want to thank Cam for this spotlight here, and I just want to mention that tomorrow we're going to have the Prairies Day. Still sponsored by Vecca and Everlast. So.
I think it's snowing. I think it's snowing out there already, so
okay.
It'll be interesting. Yeah.
Well, at least we're a distance from there. So.
Right.
So no, that's it. And I just want to invite you all, even if you're from BC and attended today. Like there's, there might be a lot of interesting stuff tomorrow for you. So you probably received the links for everything. So if you have any chances to attend, please do. And if not, you can always hop in on YouTube here and there. Just follow our social media for the links, and just come with your questions.
And Terry sends congratulations to Cam and his team. Great facility and group. So
thanks, Terry.
Appreciates.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks again. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye, Cam. Thanks.
Yeah, thank